Oh, you guys remember this goblin?
Helpful.
Is this, by the way, is this where evangelicalism is now? Wow, that's your intro song? Look at this. This is an evangelical, quote, reverend.
What's up, Lutherans?
What's up, Lutherans? Wow. Nadia Bowles-Weber. That Brad, $10. I want my Jew soap, Jimbob. I'll make soap. I know some people who can make soap. Jortlandia? Imagine a Jortlandia soap. She's a tank? Yeah, dude. What the hell? Who is this guy?
Sometimes people are like, why'd you decide to become a Lutheran? I'm like, well, they're just so good looking.
I gotta give it to her. That's a funny joke, because she knows she's not. I'll give it to her. I'm gonna give her that one. More like balls weaver. She knows it. At least she knows. She knows she's a one.
So last week I asked my very own teenagers, my personal teenagers, what they thought I should talk about tonight. And they didn't say...
I'm working on those shoulders, though. I'm close. I mean, she is way ahead of me. It's actually worse. It's terrible. Craig says, 3 questions. Can you pronounce tuquoque? Tuquoque yet. Tuquoque. It's the stupidest. It's just stupid. Tuquoque. We'll get Krista waterboarding. We will get Krista waterboarding. Don't you worry about it. When we get you in Posh Funny Hadith stream. Posh and I, our next stream is going to be Reformer. We're going to attack the Reformed view.
Mom, you should just tell them how cool you are. Unfortunately, they said, Mom, you should just tell them how uncool you were when you were our age. So
this is just bad female comedy. That's what these churches have turned into. Just bad female comedy. Like once you attend even one divine liturgy, let alone convert, like the thought of sitting down in a sort of like theater setting and having the opening, like everything about this, the opening of your, quote, church, the place that you're calling worship, the place that you call sacred, the place that is focused on your participation in worship to God. When the opener is just a bad Netflix female comedy skit, like you can't unsee it. You just can't. You need the contrast. This is a problem, I think, for a lot of people, is that once you bypass all of this nonsense and you're practicing and you're in and you're baptized, it's impossible to unsee it. So you can't not see it. You could try to lie to yourself, but you can't unsee it. Whereas people who've never seen it, they get a little bit of grace because they don't know the contrast. They're not aware of the contrast. So they don't even know what they don't know about it. They're just like, what? What do you mean? But that's it. It's like once you go, there's no one seeing it.
So here we go.
This is religious. This is rock bottom for quote religion.
My own experience as a teenager is not something that's always been easy for me to talk about.
Oh. I mean, it's not even a fault to women. There's no way if you made a woman a priest, which is a contradiction. But if you did, and, can you imagine the homily? And it starts with a story, like a feminized story about the triumphs of being you. We'd all be like, ugh.
I mean, there's a reason why I covered myself in tattoos. I mean, I didn't have the hardest life, but my pain is not what some of yours is, for sure.
Hey guys, I'm your pastor. I'm your pastor. Thanks for coming to church today. Me, 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 my, I, me, me, me. And me, and I, and then me. And me, and then me, and then me, and my kids, and me. And then I.
Sure. But it's just not always been easy for me to tell the truth about that time in my life.
I'll hit the violin again, I guess.
I mean, when I was writing my first memoir...
Oh, your first memoir. Can you imagine your priest said that? Like, how self-important do you have to be to go to a place that you're claiming to your, quote, parishioners, your attendees, is the place to worship God, that you're a reverend, that you're a mass gathering. She calls this a mass gathering, by the way. Day 3, the mass gathering. And the opener is simply a story about you and your memoir. Unbelievable. Of course, a church is going to be reflective of your own self-importance and pride. It's like, why wouldn't you flock to a church that focuses on your own self-importance? Enough that your memoir is included in the sermon, my memoir. Today I was going to talk about Paul's journey. I was going to talk about his journey. Today I'm going to talk about Thomas's doubt. I was, until I thought, you know what? I should talk about my memoir. Sounds like a group therapy. It really is that.
I did end up telling my editor about it.
Oh, your editor, and you have an editor now, too. I was going to tell my personal chef about it, but she was gone on vacation. My driver on the way here, of my private driver, my car, I mentioned to him, hey, have you gotten a hold of a copy of my memoir? I left one in the back seat for you, sweetie. Ugh, it's just so transparently gross.
But having a disfiguring...
Harry says, not a representative of Protestantism, only weird. Well, it's all connected, Larry. I know you're going to cope about this. You're going to try to use cognitive dissonance, Harry. I've seen it. It's all reflective, dude. I'm sorry. There's no way around it. There's no way to softly tell you, Harry. It is an extension of heterodoxy. There's no way around it, okay? You can't get away from this, dude. You can't say, but my Protestantism. The fact that you can say my Protestantism isn't this. It's not this. The fact that you can even say that, you're demonstrating that they're in some sort of competition. But you can't really say it. There's no authority to say this isn't it. I'm sorry. You could say you don't like it. You can say it's crap. We'll agree with you, but ultimately the standard you have, if you've gone away from a normative authority that doesn't go back to Christ, if you don't have a continuation of the practice of the faith and its tradition and interpretation of Scripture, if you don't have its sacraments, if you don't have it wholly intact, you're basically defending your part of it and saying that part's worse than my part. But what we're saying is that you still have just parts. Okay? Thank you for the memberships, Harry. But I disagree with you. This is just one big humble brag. Hey, guys, did you hear I have a memoir?
Autoimmune disorder.
Oh, of course you have an autoimmune disorder. Okay, you have a dog, too, with a vest? Are we going to get the name of your dog? Let me get. The name of your dog with a vest is named Righteous.
From the ages of 12 to 16, that caused my eyes to bulge out of my face so far that my eyelids couldn't close. I told her about the
Let me guess, you dated a narcissist too.
pain of my adolescence.
Did you date a narcissist?
I told her how I had to live with it until I was 16 because the surgeons couldn't fix it until I stopped growing, and it took me a while to stop growing. I was just confiding in her, and then unhelpfully I thought, she suggested I write about it, which I absolutely refuse to do.
Oh, I'm just so thankful to God. I'm just so thankful. Not only I'm thankful that I got away from this as a potential, not that I've been to these types of places for sure, but I'm just so thankful of being redirected. I'm thankful to everybody. I'll have my own violin music. I'm thankful that my current existence not only saved me away from this stuff, but actually makes it so I'm not even allowed to go to this place.
But
it's a TED Talk. Yeah, it's God Talk, but TED Talk.
Once I'd given her a draft of the entire book for its final editing.
And then I edited it, and then you can get it in the front. It's an edited memoir of me. And me. You can get it. You can get it right after the sermon about me. So I can have a sermon about me, and then you can buy the book about me after the sermon about me. Writing about me. The upspeak is driving me nuts. It's insane. It makes you insane. Up? And then we up? Gary G, $5. Please look up Matt Hannon from Samurai Cop for a side-by-side of this Lutheran. Matt Hannon. Hold on a second. Now I'm interested. But I'll search for that, and you guys keep listening, okay?
She read it, and then she sent it back to me with a note saying, Nadia, read this again, and tell me that that isn't an important piece of your story. Why else would you be such an angry teenage kid with a substance abuse problem? Be brave, she said, tell it.
Tell your truth. Tell your truth, guys.
And of all the inelegant things I wrote about myself in that book, publicly admitting to drug use and alcoholism, deceit, sexual indiscretion, misanthropy, pretending to be a hero, the pain and alienation
pretending to be a hero?
I
don't think you got rid of that one, lady.
Made me think, if I tell this, I might die.
Oh, it's so dramatic, dude.
Tattoos, no one again will believe that I'm tough.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the truth is that my daily reality at your age was name-calling and bullying.
Oh, the fact that this chick is running a seminar and she's just talking to women through the lens of a pseudo-perverse Christian lens is just such a... You know what, though? It's so far from correct that I almost can't even be offended by it because it's so far beyond even mimicking. You know what's worse is like a mimicry. Like if someone does a mimicry of, like, let's say a liturgy, and then they do a mockery of the liturgy, like they take all of the elements of the service but they just tweak it and change it. To me, that's a more of an egregious attack than this. This is already off the... Like, there's no place it can't go. So it's like, it's not upsetting.
Bullying and social isolation because I looked like a freak.
You looked... Wait, you past tense? Okay. Look up Nadia Bowles-Weber and Gloria Allred. Golden Vijay statue made... What, dude? Are you serious? They made a golden statue of themselves?
Let's just say that if I was a teenager at this gathering...
Harry says you can't just blatantly... you can. You can dismiss Protestantism, okay, Harry. You can blatantly dismiss Protestantism. You can blatantly attack it. It's possible. It's not you. It's not personal. But you can do it. To say we can't do it, I mean, that's just false. We can do it. We can reasonably, justifiably, and coherently dismiss Protestantism. We can.
I would not be the kid doing all the arm motions during the songs. I would be the kid who refused to stand up when everyone else was.
Oh, it's just so much. Wait, how far in is she still talking about herself? Let's just guess. Let's skip to 12 minutes. Let's see how quickly she says me or I, okay?
It's like an emotional and spiritual Pinterest board just always mocking us. And you have to know that we come by this little pathology honestly. Our culture colludes in this lie of self-perfection. But if you think about it, no one's ever become their ideal self.
It's all about the flowering of the self. It's not a reflection of God. It's not theosis. This is, is this called kenosis? Apotheosis? I think this is would be labeled apotheosis. And this is what makes this so horrific as a worldview, is that you are the standard for achieving yourself. That God is in the standard, that Christ is in the standard, that there's not a being that is the standard who's outside of you that's always existed. It's not an ultimate standard, it's a temporal standard where you become better versions of you, and the standard is also you. It's demonic. It's making you in the image of yourself and worshiping the future version of yourself that's better than the previous version of yourself. It's self-help. It's basically an extension of prosperity gospel, but the prosperity extends from things, money, cars, houses, to self-realization. It's not theosis. It's not theosis.
It's a moving target. It's a false promise. Your ideal self is a lie.
Watch. That's a half-truth. Ready?
So the bottom line is, like, the reason to be unafraid of being honest and just tell the truth about ourselves and to be our actual selves is your ideal self doesn't exist. The self that God has a relationship to is your actual self. The self God loves is your actual self. And there's a word for this, and that word is grace.
Service to self. Clapping. I mean, we're this is like if they made what was that movie where they all hunt each other under a dome? I feel like this is a clip from that movie, but like they made it a little more religious. Theosis. Yeah, theosis.
God isn't waiting for you to become thinner or more spiritual or better athlete to love you. I think the more distracted we become by our projects of self-improvement, the less we really even experience the love of God, because we're too busy trying to earn what's already been freely given to us. So here's the deal. Oh,
here we go. You got your free grace card. It came in the mail last week. Grace, being saved, salvation. It's like a social security card. You get it when you're born. All you have to do is read the card. Read the words on the card. So there's nothing required of you here. You come as you are. That's it. He already understands.
Your ideal self is not real. You are. You and all your inconsistencies and beauty.
See, this is where it inverts a little bit. This is where it inverts and does away with theosis as some sort of continuum, some sort of thing, some sort of path that might take your entire life. To be lowercase God-like, to be Christ-like. You already arrived. It's not even it's like when you enter from this view, if you enter the coordinates on Google Maps of being saved, it shows up as already there. You open up Google Maps, you type it in, you hit enter, and lo and behold, you look at the map and you're already there. It's the shortest distance. Just you. It's just you as a dot on the map. There's no, like, from from this perspective, there is no ideal to achieve. There's no directionality. There's no process. There's no status that you're shooting to achieve. You're already there, bro. Jordan, $10. Have you read the memoir? Can you really say anything about it if you haven't then read the memoir? I've read the memoir. You're not an expert until you read the memoir, right?
You and your sinner and Satanist, you, God beloved, you are magnificently imperfect.
No, dude. You don't worship the imperfection. This is what they've also done. This is why you see a spike in celebration of the retarded, celebration of the wheelchair people, celebration of the broken. They've inverted and made the broken not a symptom of the fall, something that we acknowledge and we're called into some sort of duty to tend to. No, they take the broken aspect, they take the symptom of the fall, and they elevate the symptom of the fall as the perfection. They just invert it. So if you already reach perfection, you're already perfectly armless. You don't even have to pray. You're perfectly nubby. Marilyn, $10. You are God. No, we're not God, Marilyn. Stop. I am not God. God is eternally uncreated, Marilyn. Humans are created, therefore humans are not God because they are not eternally uncreated, Marilyn. Stop.
But there's...
That's why they hate beauty. Right, Isaiah. Right.
So many lies out there trying to tell us about ourselves.
Only you can tell you about yourself, you guys. You're already perfect. In fact, because you are perfect, all of your thoughts are actually perfect. Every single one of them. All of your horrific thoughts and unpleasant thoughts and sinful thoughts and all of it, it's just perfect. You're just a perfect little Artsa box. There's no wrong Artsa box.
Not for nothing, but there is a reason why in parts of the Hebrew Bible, the devil is called Hasatan, which means the accuser. And look, no matter if you believe that
the voice itself, it's like a imagine your breeze sounding like that. Epstein's rope, $5. Sir, please help me. I was born in India. Please, how am I to self-improve? I am Indian. Please help me. There's nothing I can do about that, Epstein.
The devil's an actual being or just the human forces of evil or the shadow side of our own beings. I don't care, man.
I don't care, man. I don't care about it, bro. Man.
It is the voice of the accuser that tells us lies about ourselves and other people. The voice of shame in our heads, that's the...
Oh, no, yeah, let's do away with shame. Don't experience any shame for anything you've done. Okay, lady.
Accuser. The accusing voice.
Let me get this straight. It's actually Satan telling you that you did something wrong and you need to repent. It's Satan. This is how inverted these people are. Guys, she's talking to a room of women, young women. Young women about to be, grown into, their full adulthood and so forth, right? And this is what they get, a 3-day mass gathering with Reverend Nadia Bowles-Weber telling a bunch of, I don't know how old they are. I assume they're like teenagers and above or whatever, but she's literally telling them that anything you thought was like necessary to confess or repent for, redeem yourself, acknowledge. Nope, none of that exists. That's just the devil. It's the devil who tells you that it's a sin. It's the devil. The devil's the one that's calling out sin. So sick, dude.
Is the voice that continually updates me on the distance between my ideal self and my actual self.
No, look. If the same voice told you the distance you are between God's goodness and, and where you are now, you'd call that evil too.
The one that repeats harmful things said to me as a child. That voice makes us eat less than we should or more than we should. That voice makes us go to ridiculous lengths to prove it wrong or to prove it right. And sometimes we try and shut that voice up with alcohol or sex.
She's wrong about so much in her voice.
Or shopping or carbohydrates or perfectionism. The accuser's not the conscience, by the way. My conscience says, you were rude to your coworker, and hopefully I listen to my conscience and I go apologize. What I'm talking about are the crippling messages on repeat in our heads. The things we say most often about ourselves to ourselves. That's something different. That's shame, not a guilty conscience.
Preach it, sister. Yes. Yes.
So know this, my friends.
Oh, fuck yes.
When the accusing voice...
Oh, fuck yes. I love her.
In your head.
I love her. Girl, you are so powerful.
That is not the voice.
You are a beast. Beast mode.
God. God's voice. God's voice is a warm sing-song of a mother to her newborn.
A mother? God's voice is a mother? You witch. God's voice is the sound of a mother? Listen, Jay Leno. You've gone one step too far, okay? God's voice is a sing-song of a mother? There's that, you know, they could never hide it. The witchy feminist pagan goblins, they can never not say it. The Gaian mother, the whispering mother.
The one that says, you are mine.
You are mine? I'm going to breastfeed you spiritually? God's the motherly voice who's holding you and breastfeeding you from the tree. Nicholasville, $5. My voice tells me I'm a fire truck.
God's voice declares us worthy. And there's a word for having worthiness that is in no way based in our efforts or our accomplishments or some ridiculous idea that...
This is all Disney shit. I am worthy. I'm already worthy. I mean, the pride of declaring yourself worthy. It's such an inversion. This is where it all goes sour for these types. All of these churches. They say, no, you're already worthy. You're all good. You're all good. You're already worthy. I'm worthy. I'm worthy. Whereas the humility says, well, no, what do you mean? Why would I declare myself worthy? Why would I declare myself worthy of God's voice even? Or an orb, Sam Shamoon? Why would you even claim to be in a position spiritually where you actually thought God had it in to send you orbs to talk to you?
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar!
We can become an imagined ideal, and that word is grace.
The claps, the little teenage claps.
I like to think of grace not as when, like, God is a good enough guy to forgive me for my failings, but when God is...
Notice how she said failings. They're so immune to certain things, right? You can pick it up in their language. Like, you can know what they mean by what they don't say. Does that make sense? Like, the things that they leave out in language is what you can tell that they're avoiding considering. You know, the people I've debated, the Baptist dude I debated, Joel. The fact that when I asked him, what is the true church that existed? What church was St. Irenaeus a part of? What's the church of the year 400? What's the Christian church? The avoidance of saying the name of the church, you know, is part of the game that you don't say. You know, I can't say.